Welcome to Chris Parkin Shooting Sports. We're outdoors today building. This is a new Caldwell stable table deluxe shooting bench. So we've got Dave on the camera. He's going to be a bit dynamic moving around as I'm going to try and build this real time. So it's quite a heavy thing when it's in the box at delivery, but when we get it out, we'll see the component parts that we'll need to transport around with us if we ever want to use this. Because it comes in that nice box, and if we have a little look in here, you'll see exactly what it is. So you've got a big steel tripod base, you've got a central column, a bench on top, and then you've got a seat sort of cantilevered off the side. You can move into position for your shooting. So I'm not sure if that's upside down or not, but we'll have a go at opening it that way up. And this is where it's always fun trying to deal with massive, great, bulky things on camera. And that will be easier. So, it's all beautifully packaged in polystyrene, which is going to be absolutely impossible to re-put back together. See if we can lift it out in one piece. That'll be a no then. These feel like component parts of it, possibly legs. Take it all out as we go along, because you're learning about it as I am. That seems to be the central column there. That's probably the base there for the legs. Just pop that down. This will all start to make a lot more sense once we see it in operation, I suspect. Another leg, more parts there. Here we've got the Allen key, all the tools, washers, bolts. That is the seat. Pop that down. See if we can get this out of the box. Well, isn't this a fun unboxing video? So that would appear to be the shooting bench top. So let's start building it. Right, there's no real way to do this neat and tidy, so I've got to just separate all this packaging, put it over here at the moment. All these steel bars are all powder coated, and they all look like they've been done very well. Steel tubes, sorry. Can't see any marks on anything, nothing looks damaged or distorted. It's all heavily packaged in foam and bubble. The chances of putting it back together are zero. That's probably the underside of the bench, that one I suspect. The trusty instruction book, there's the tools, there's some more bolts in there. That is, I suspect, the seat bar. Those look like sort of rest inlays. And we've got more legs here. That's the central column. This will be the last leg. Right, those are all the components now, so let's start putting it together. Right, everything's opened up, everything's all the polystyrene's put out of the way, so we can start assembling this now. It's probably fairly straightforward, but let's follow the instructions and see exactly what it says. It's a big instruction manual. We've got all the component parts out, and let's just see if it tells us if there's a specific order they want us to do it in, or whether we just figure it out as we go along. Looks fairly straightforward, to be honest, because this is going to go on the underside of the actual bench, which I suspect is going to be that way around because the column is at the radius end here. So that will bolt on there. Let's just see which bolts we need to put that on there. I suspect that's those ones first. See if we can pop this out of its packaging. Can't beat the old blister pack. Leave that back in there. So, now let's just have a little look here now. Putting your stable table together. Does it show it using any washers under those anywhere? Description, tabletop, no, unlocking nuts. Right, now that you've identified all your parts, you can begin assembling your stable table. Just a few easy steps, you'll have a stable table. Assembled, blah, 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 blah. Right, first insert a leg into the large rectangular socket on the hub. So it wants us to start with the hub first, and this is the hub. So we need to put a leg in here. Now that hub goes that way up, and there's a steel pad on top, and it would appear that that is going to fit that way up there. Or does it? Leg adjustment knob. Right, so we need to put the first leg into here, and that goes in under that, and it would appear that that locks on there. Leg adjustment knob. Next, insert the remaining two legs and the smaller square sockets. For these legs, square steel pad should be on the opposite end from the hub. So there's a square steel pad there, and we put that on the opposite end to the hub. And the hub is this bit here. And that's going to go in there like that. And that's going to go in there like that. Now I'm presuming this is what allows you to level the table somewhat when you're on uneven ground, to make sure it's pointing correctly up and downhill at your target. Insert the remaining two legs. With the legs now fully assembled, turn the large knob on the leg until it contacts the steel pad. Yes, done that. Continue to tighten until the hub sits parallel with the ground. Correct. Next, place the nylon bearing over the centre support. That would appear to be the nylon bearing. This would appear to be the centre support. So I think that goes on there, and that's going to go in there. And we undo the screw thread on this side. Bring that all the way out. And that drops in there like that. Next, place the nylon bearing of centre support. We've done that. Back the centre support tube locking knob out so the tube itself will not hang up on the screw. Yes, we've done that. With the bearings in place, insert the centre support tube in the hub. Right, we've done that. The next step is to attach the seat to the seat arm. Your seat comes with a steel plate already attached. The plate has two 5/16 inch bolts, protecting from the bottom, allowing these bolts the two smaller holes on the seat arm. Right, so that would probably appear to go over here, something thus like that, and that will go over there like that. But I think it probably wants me to put those on first so that I can do, oops, just move to here. Obviously trying to do this and film it is a little bit interesting. That looks like it's going to go on there. Where do we get to? Attach the seat to the seat arm. Seat comes with a steel plate already attached. The plate is now 2 5/16 bolts between the bottom. Align these bolts to 2 smaller holes in the seat arm and use the 5/16 nylon nuts and washers to fasten them. You'll need a 1/2 inch wrench for this. So let's put some washers on. And then the nylock nuts. Now this won't need fully assembling or disassembling each time you use it. And of course you won't have to put it all back in a cardboard box, you can put it in the back of your car. A good friend of mine's been using one of these for several years, taking his guns off and zeroing them. Now with that being a nylock nut, I'm just hoping something has got that other end pinned on there. And it does say we will need a 1/2 inch driver. 1 second please. Right, socket set was packed ready to go. And let's just see if that is actually going to lock into something there and tighten up, which it quite clearly doesn't. Aha, right, there's actually, it's got a little square mount on it, so if we just pull that out a little bit, it will actually stop it spinning. So you just need to be a little bit careful on this, just to make sure that that bolt is under a little bit of tension so it locks in position. You can of course just hopefully lift that bar slightly, but it is just a little bit fiddly the first time, especially trying to do it on camera. And of course trying to do it when if you tighten one of them up, so don't tighten the first one up, because if you tighten it up it stops it pivoting, and if it won't pivot it won't lift out to lock in place, but that appears to be the way to do it. And you'll probably need a spanner, not a socket set for this, because the bolts are a little bit too long and it just nudges the socket off. So I'll probably grab a spanner later and just tension these correctly, but for now you can probably see it's just not quite locking on now, but for now that will do. Right, back to the instruction book. With the seat now assembled to the seat arm, slide the seat arm over the top of the centre support and attach it with the longer 3.5 inch quick release pin. You will notice that your centre support has 7 holes in it. These holes allow you to customise your seat height so that you may achieve the most comfortable shooting position. So pop this over here, and these are the 7 holes. And I suspect these are the locking pins we're now going to use. And one of those, let's just put it sort of in the middle. They've got like a ball detent on there. You see that ball detent? So that will sort of clip up, go all the way through, and that means it won't just easily slide out. You've got to actually grab the ring pull and actually give it a sharp pull to come out. But that is now set up there, and that will of course rotate unless we lock it in position there. But if I put that sort of perpendicular to the adjustable leg, gives us a sort of starting point to work from. I'll just nip that up, and that is now pretty much locked in position. And of course with all my weight on there, that will not wobble around. Right, back to the instructions. With the seat now assembled, yes, the next step is to attach the tabletop to table mounting bracket. This is done with the 6 3/4 inch long screws and washers that are left. So we should have 6 of these and 6 washers. And those just line up with these holes here. And as always, put them all in before you decide to tighten any of them completely in position. Comes with the Allen key for doing that. You can see this is real world. We've got bits of grass and everything on here already. So all 6 are in. I'll just start nipping them up a little bit. I won't tighten them down completely. There's a threaded steel insert actually set into the injection moulding of this top, or it could be a vacuum forming. I'm not entirely sure actually. I think it's probably an injection moulding. I'm just going to nip these up now. Not going to swing on them too hard because it has actually started raining, which, as anybody who lives in the UK knows, since July 2023 when it started raining, it hasn't really stopped since, and we're now in June 2024. So finally slide the now assembled table bracket onto the top of the centre table support. It should spin freely. The knob on the centre table bracket can be set to lock the table from rotating. Congratulations on your Caldwell stable table. It is now fully assembled. So now I think these 3 locking pins here, I've missed the stage out, because these 3 locking pins should probably have gone through here. So if I just take that back out, put that back in there, that locking pin goes through there. Just slacken that off, make sure I can line that up correctly. We want to just back that screw completely actually. This is what it told us to do first, which I obviously missed out on. That locking pin's through there. And again, that one, turn it the correct way around. That one lines up there. And through it goes. So that is now fully ready for load bearing. Now, if we look at the top has got a locking screw thread here. Spin that all the way free. And then that will now fit on the top. Thus, look underneath now, you can see you can tighten it in whichever position you want. So depending on where you're shooting, you're obviously going to set this up. We just set it up on a bit of reasonably flat ground for the moment. But essentially, there we now have the stable table deluxe edition. So let's move that into a more suitable position for actually doing a bit of shooting from now, with the backstop and the target in the distance, and have a go with it. Since we built it on a piece of flat ground, and not necessarily the best place to actually shoot it from, we're going to move it now, but I think this is probably the easiest way to carry it if you want to carry it in one whole piece rather than disassembling it. So let's see how it carries. Hello. So I'm not saying you want to walk miles with it like that, but we've just done 100 metres with it, and it's all right. Pick it back up, line it with the target, sit on the bench, probably give it a tweak there, and I think that is going to be about right for shooting. So I'll tension this underneath, and then I've got the spare leg here under my seat, and if you see now, I can actually drop that down or lift it up to get the bench level with how I want it. That's probably a little bit far down now, so I just lift it back up a bit, And that looks about right. So let's go and grab a rifle. Right, I've just zeroed this rifle as just part of my day out shooting, and I'm very happy with the bench overall. It's very stiff, it's very stable, and I'm quite happy with how rigid it is. It's giving me a stable mounting position. This particular rifle's got a bipod mounted on it, but the bipod legs are a little bit too long, so I've actually just swapped to some rest bags for this purposes now, just to bring it down a little bit. The bipod on this being long, it's probably got 13, 14 inch legs on it. It's more for prone shooting and hunting requirements, but it's just what I happen to have with me. But in terms of setting up, the ease of pointing the rifle at the target, getting the bench point at the target, it's been very, very handy. So it's something I'm going to be using more of, I think. And these very, very heavy steel legs here, I weigh 87 kilos, and this is solid. It's absolutely solid. So there's no movement, there's no instability at all. And when I've got this rifle pointed at the target, I can guarantee stability and a solid shooting position. So I'm very happy with that. Now there's one last little thing just to show you on these, because you probably noticed there's these slots on the side here. So I'm just going to go and grab the anchor points for those. Right, these anchor points slot in here and in here. So if you wanted to work on your rifle, you can just put your rifle like that, and you've got a fairly stable position there for scope mounting, things like that, probably some bore sighting. You know, just get the thing in position, put the rear bag under it, and I could have bore sighted it like that. And of course, if I just slacken the table screw off there, I can just turn that round so it's pointing at the target, and I could set up like this for bore scope or bore sighting the rifle. So if I just take the bolt out of this a second, I can line that up and set up to bore scope the rifle, and that's actually quite a handy feature to have from this bench. And of course, if you are working on it and you want something a little bit more solid than a bag, you can lock it there, lock the bench in position, and of course you've got full access for things like scope mounting or anything like that, any kind of maintenance, cleaning the rifle, and because it drops the patches straight down to the floor. So if you wanted to adjust the seat height, you can just pull that pin out there, and you can either drop that down or lift it right up. I actually was about right where I put it first time, sort of halfway. It seemed to suit me all right. That's because I'm about medium height. It just needs a little bit of a wiggle, and that will then go through, and of course it won't fall out easily without actually a proper pull on that. And to disassemble it, we'll show you that in a moment. Right, you've seen me build this straight from the box, real time. I'm going to take it down now and see what it's like for actually component parts for carriage. So if I take the top off, that's going to go there, and then I just pull the pin here for the seat. That we can put down there. I'm just going to put these in my pocket for now, and then similarly I can pull the pin on each of these three legs, pop them in my pocket, and then those will slot out, and effectively the total of what I have now got to transport with me in my car or my four-wheel drive pickup, whatever you've got, are these components here. And that is the Caldwell Stable Table Deluxe in its component parts. And those slots that the rest went through there now make useful carry handles. I won't say it's not light, but that'll pick up and just pop in the back of your car now. Well, I hope you've enjoyed that review of the Caldwell Stable Table. This is the deluxe version. Please like, subscribe, comment, click the notification bell and keep track of the regular uploads to see all sorts of new rifles, new optics, new night vision thermal and all sorts of kit and accessories just like this Caldwell table. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.